On a quiet night in June of 1992, three women just vanished. They walked into a small house in Springfield, Missouri, and were never, ever seen again. We're going to dive into one of the most baffling and honestly chilling unsolved cases in American history.
So right off the bat, here's the question that just hangs over this entire story. How? How do three women just disappear from a locked house in the middle of the night without leaving a single trace? I mean, think about it. No witnesses, no ransom note, not a single clue as to why. It's like they were just plucked out of thin air.
And here's what makes it so creepy. This wasn't some dark alley or a deserted road. This happened in their own home. 1717 East Delmar Street. You know, the one place on Earth you're supposed to be safe. The police show up, and nothing. The front door was unlocked, sure, but there were no signs of a struggle. No splintered door frame, no shattered windows. Whatever happened that night, it happened quietly. Almost seamlessly. And that's what's so terrifying.
And this is how we know, for a fact, that they didn't just decide to run away. I mean, come on, look at what they left behind. Their cars were still parked outside, and inside, all of their purses with cash still in them. Car keys, house keys, even their vital medication was just sitting there. You don't just walk away from your entire life like that. Okay, so before we go any deeper into the what, we really need to understand the who. Who were these three women? Let's meet the Springfield Three. All right, so first you have Sherrill Levitt. She's 47, a cosmetologist, a mom. She was pouring her heart and soul into renovating this little house on Delmar Street. It was supposed to be her dream home. Then there's her daughter, Suzie Streeter. She was just 19, fresh out of high school, and so excited to start cosmetology school just like her mom. And finally, there was Suzie's best friend, Stacy McCall, only 18. She was this super responsible girl. Everyone called her a daddy's girl, and she had her whole life planned out, college in the fall. And, this is really important, she needed daily medication for her severe migraines. She literally never went anywhere without it. You know, the last day they were seen should have been one of the happiest of their lives. It was all about celebration. So let's walk through the timeline. Let's see how a perfectly normal day just fell off a cliff into this complete mystery. So, it all starts in the afternoon on June 6th, 1992. It's graduation day for Suzie and Stacy. Big day, right? So they do what any recent grad would do. They party hop all night. Around 2:15 in the morning, the cops break up the last party, and the girls decide, hey, let's just go crash at Suzie's house on Delmar. They each drive their own car, Suzie in the lead, and head home. And that's the very last time anyone ever saw them. So the next morning, a few friends swing by to pick the girls up. They were all supposed to go to a water park, continue the celebration. But when they got to the house, there was no celebration, no laughter, just this eerie, unnerving silence. And what they found inside is what makes this case so weird. It's like a snapshot of a moment, frozen in time. You got all three of their purses, keys, cash. Sherrill and Suzie were chain smokers, and their cigarettes and lighters were right there. And then, the big one, Stacy's migraine medicine. There's no way she would have left that behind on purpose. The TV was still on, just static, hissing. Sherrill's bed looked like it had been slept in. The only living thing there was the family dog Cinnamon, who was super agitated but totally unharmed. Right in those first crucial hours, the investigation was hit with two huge setbacks. The only real sign of anything being wrong was the glass globe from the front porch light. It was shattered on the ground. A friend, just trying to be helpful, swept it all up and threw it away. Now I gotta remember, this is 1992. We don't have the CSI-level DNA tech we have today. Any tiny piece of evidence, a hair, a skin cell, was just gone, forever. And then, maybe even worse, Stacy's mom found this really strange, disturbing message on the answering machine. But in a panic, she accidentally erased it before the police ever got to hear it. A potential clue, just poof, gone. So, with a crime scene that's been cleaned up and almost no physical evidence to go on, the police had to turn their attention to people. And that led them down a rabbit hole to a pretty disturbing list of potential suspects. Over the years, a few names just keep coming up. First, there's Suzie's ex-boyfriend, a guy named Dustin Rekla. Turns out, Suzie was actually scheduled to testify against him in court pretty soon. Then you have Robert Craig Cox, a convicted kidnapper already doing time, who started making some very specific, very spooky claims about the case. And, weirdly enough, there was Larry Dwayne Hall. He was a suspected serial killer who just happened to be in Springfield that exact weekend for a Civil War reenactment. The timing is just chilling.
And this quote right here, this is from Robert Craig Cox. Now look, prisons are full of guys who confess to everything to get attention, but Cox, he was different. He told reporters he knew exactly what happened, and he allegedly gave them details about the crime that had never been released to the public. That gave his claims this terrifying credibility. He told them he'd reveal everything once his mother passed away. Well, she died, and he's been silent ever since, just leaving this awful statement hanging in the air.
And so with no bodies, no confession, and no real evidence, the case just stalled. It's become frozen in time. A wound for the families and for the whole community that is just never, ever healed. But you know what? The public has never given up. Over the decades, police have gotten more than 5,000 tips. Think about that. 5,000 different leads, 5,000 phone calls from people hoping they had the missing piece. And every single one of them has led nowhere. This right here really puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? We're talking over 3 decades of searching, and in all that time, 0 arrests have ever been made, and most tragically, 0 of the women have been found. The numbers just paint this incredibly bleak picture of the void they left behind. Which brings us right back to where we started, with that one haunting question that's been echoing for a generation now. After all this time, all these theories, and all this heartbreak, will the silence on Delmar Street ever finally be broken? You know, this is still a very active investigation. The families are still out there waiting for any kind of answer. So if you know anything, and I mean anything, no matter how small or insignificant you might think it is, please make the call. The number is right there on your screen. A single phone call could be the one thing that finally brings Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy home.